Welcome. I'm Carl Frederick, and I will be interviewing individuals for Kenosha Voices, an oral history project of the Kenosha County Historical Society in conjunction with Kenosha Community Media. I have worked in newspapers for more than 40 years as an editor and a reporter. 38 and a half of those years were at the Kenosha News. I am also a member of the Kenosha County Historical Society Board. We hope you enjoy these programs. I'm speaking with Mary Keene, Manager of History Archives at Jockey International. Thank you for joining me today.
Glad to be here.
When did you begin working at Jockey?
I joined Jockey back in 1994 as a store manager. Opened a store in Lightfoot, Virginia, and when I saw the ad for Jockey in the local newspaper, I knew that was the job for me because I'm a huge Jockey fangirl.
And what is a Jockey fangirl?
Well, I've loved the product ever since they introduced women's underwear in 1982, and I've never worn anything else.
Is this a club or something?
No. It's my own personal club.
Okay. So how long did you run this store in Virginia?
I ran the store for 3 years, and then I was given the opportunity to move to Kenosha and work for the director of stores as her assistant.
Okay. And you moved here then in 1997?
Yes, sight unseen from Williamsburg, Virginia.
And now that you've been here?
Love it. Love it. It's the longest I've ever lived anywhere.
So how long were you working with the director of sales, stores?
Let's see, that was 3 years. And then I became a district manager. And I did that for 2 years. And then they created a communications manager job for me, so I returned to the corporate office.
And yet it was a corporate job in, what was it?
Retail.
Retail.
Mm-hmm.
And you continued to change jobs at Jockey?
Yes, different positions in retail. When we launched Jockey Person to Person.
You did that job. And then today your job is?
I work with the History Archives. I just got the opportunity to take that position back in March of this year, and it's my dream job.
Your dream job.
I'm a total history nut.
Oh, great. You graduated in history, or?
Actually, a Bachelor of Arts in Religion from the College of William and Mary, and my focus was on religious history, not theology. So.
Okay. What can you tell me about the top company history?
Well, we were founded in 1876 by Reverend Samuel T. Cooper and 2 of his 3 sons. He was a typical Methodist preacher of the time, rode around a wide territory, and he had a buggy accident that left him on crutches for several years, so he went part-time. He had 6 children, so he needed to supplement his part-time income. So they bought 6 hand-cranked sock knitting machines and started off.
Now, how long did they stay with 6 machines?
It grew pretty rapidly because they had a reputation for only building a quality product. So
Okay.
It rapidly expanded.
Okay, and how did this develop into a bigger, more of a factory type company?
Just kept growing and growing. Cooper and Sons became known for high quality product, just like relentless attention to quality and integrity.
Where was he from?
Reverend Cooper was actually from Ohio, but as a preacher he was all over the place. And they did found the company in St. Joseph, Michigan. And after his death in 1892, they relocated to Kenosha. Okay. And continued making socks, the best socks around.
What year was that?
In 1892.
Okay. And they have a factory when they first moved here?
Yes. And then the brothers thought, I bet our salesman could sell underwear. So they started testing a line of underwear. It went well. So they launched Cooper's and started making underwear in 1901, built a new factory which opened in 1903, and that's part of the headquarters of Jockey to this day. And off they went.
Okay, what was the first development that they had as a company after the beginning of underwear?
The big thing was an idea that one of the knitting superintendents came up with. His name was Horace Johnson. And one of the big problems back then was union suits were the underwear that you wore if you were a guy. And they bunched in the most uncomfortable places. It was a big problem. And Horace was inspired, and rumor has it he woke his wife up in the middle of the night because he didn't want to lose the thread of the idea, and she sewed something together from her scraps. And he developed the Kenosha closed crotch union suit. And that simply exploded.
Okay, and this continued the company's growth. When did they become Jockey?
They didn't become Jockey until 1972.
Okay. So along back into the closed crotch. Now this was that and underwear until how long?
Well, until 1934, when Arthur Niebler had an idea, and rumor has it he was inspired by skimpy French swimsuits, so he developed the men's brief. It was the first men's brief, and it was founded on masculine support. They came up with it. For a while they couldn't decide on what to call it, so they got 4 guys in the room, brainstormed, took a break, were told to make a list. They came back, and Jockey was the only name on all the lists. So that's how the name Jockey underwear came to be.
Okay. And between 1934 and 1970, what was the company involved in?
Well, let's see. In 1935, they invented the Y-front, which was like huge. And then they pretty much continued with their underwear. When the war came along, they switched production to support the war effort with lots of government contracts for all sorts of underwear and things like that.
Okay. When did the Wolf family become involved in Jockey?
Harry Wolf Sr. came in 1930 as a consultant. And he continued working as a consultant until he ended up buying shares in the company. He bought shares in the company in 1942, and in 1961 he was named chairman and CEO. 1971 he bought the company, and from there on it's history.
Okay, when was the next development in their product line?
The next big, well, actually, there was a development in 1958. The son-in-law of the man who invented the Kenosha closed crotch brought to market Skants. This was 1958. Men's 100% nylon tricot bikini underwear. So this was pretty advanced for 1958.
So did they continue making this? How long was that a product?
It evolved into some other things, but I remember Skants when I was running a store in the 90s. So
Are they still making them?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think we've switched to different bikini type underwear for the guys.
Okay. All right, so Harry Wolf was chairman of the company for how long?
Chairman and CEO, okay, that's one date I cannot ever remember, but I do know that his daughter, Donna Wolf Steigerwald, took over, became chairman and CEO in 1978.
Okay, so she's now running the company, and what did the company branch out into? What did they do after her chairmanship started?
Well, she was very well known for being empathetic and smart and had a great touch with the employees. But aside from that, I think she was a visionary. She brought to market women Jockey for Her. At the time, the cotton underwear market for women was pretty much non-existent, not fashionable. As a wearer, it wasn't comfortable. And she felt that women deserved the same comfort that Jockey underwear offered men. So it made its debut in 1982 and never looked back, has just continued to be a huge part of our company.
And how did that line change or expand since then?
Oh, it has, through the years, they just keep adding collections. The Alliance was the second one, which we still make women's Alliance underwear to this day. Let's see, all sorts of fun and fashionable things. The big thing was the No Panty Line collection, and that launched in, I believe it was 2001, and that was an innovative leg treatment that basically we guarantee you're not going to have any panty lines, money back guarantee, and we still carry it. It's still one of our top sellers, and it's just this made out of this beautiful silky product that takes the color and it just really pops.
So it went from cotton underwear in '82 to a whole variety of other fabrics over the years. What are the most popular products in the Jockey line today?
That's a hard one to say.
Men, women, which is the more side of the ledger for?
I don't know. I don't know. I do know that once you wear Jockey, you never go back, and we're always adding new innovations and styles. So.
Okay, what other products beyond underwear and socks is Jockey involved in?
We make activewear for women. We make sleepwear and loungewear for men and women. We make kind of like just sportswear, like you can get a nice jacket for men or women. Let's see what else. Of course, socks. Can't go without mentioning socks. Women's structured bras.
Was that a new thing for the?
We sold our first structured bra in 1999, and then in 2013, I believe we launched the Real Fit bras. I could be a little fudging on the dates there, and then as technology improves, our current line of underwire bras is really quite awesome. It has a comfort wire that is just incredible. So.
What is the most recent product introduction?
We introduced Made in America t-shirts and socks in 2021. We introduced Outdoors by Jockey in 2022, and our brand ambassador for that is Luke Bryan, and he was part of the design, part of, hey, yeah, this is a great product. I would say those are like the big ones.
Jockey has done a lot with ambassadors. Could you name some of the people that Jockey worked with to advance marketing of the products?
Well, we've always been very big into sports. Probably one of our biggest ambassadors was Jim Palmer in 1980, and he was even ambassador for, like a brand ambassador for Jockey for her, and women would line up for hours to see Jim Palmer. We did the Show 'em campaign in 2016 with Everyday Heroes. We had Chris Van Etten, Victoria Arlen, Zach Scow, Remy Adelike, and just everyday people who exemplified Jockey. Right now we have Luke Bryan, and we also sponsor 2 race car drivers for Trackhouse Racing, Ross Chastain and Daniel Suarez.
Okay. Now, Jockey had a factory in Kenosha. Do you remember when the actual manufacturing part of Jockey stopped in Kenosha?
That was before my time, but something in the back of my mind is saying in the early 80s.
So where are the plants today?
They are all over the world.
In America?
We do make our Made in America product in America. So I don't know exactly where that plant is, but it is made in America of American-grown cotton, which is very exciting.
So your job today?
Yes.
Who do you work with? What are you
Let's
doing?
see. Well, I work in the marketing department, and I work with the director of brand activation and history archives, and I spend my day researching Jockey history. going through artifacts, discovering new things in the archives. It's
Do you
addictive.
have a staff of any kind?
You're looking at it. But it's just the most wonderful thing because we have a fantastic history. We have found documents dating back 100 years. We have garments dating back 100 years.
So you started this job and walked into a museum? You walked into a room? What did you walk into?
I walked into a big room full of boxes.
Okay.
Lots and lots of boxes.
So what is your typical day like?
Let's see. Well, like any corporate office, you got to check your email, see what meetings you have on the calendar. Usually I will go to the archive room and go through a box, and the box might have something that might be labeled something like assorted advertising. So you go through that, and then you categorize it, and then I'll come back and I will document everything. And as part of building a future digital archive, I'm also describing a little bit so that when I get that digital archive done, if somebody is looking for information about Jim Palmer in 1982, it'll be easy to say, you can go to section 42, shelf B, and it'll be right there in a box.
So a lot of paperwork.
Yeah.
In a good way.
Yes, shuffling paperwork in the very best possible way.
Okay, and have you discovered anything interesting in your scanning or sorting or going through boxes?
Probably one of the coolest things I found was a history written by somebody who started work at Jockey at the age of 17 in 1917 as an office boy. He worked a 59-hour, 6-day work week. He rose in the organization, became a sales manager, and he was passionate about the brand, and he wrote a history. And he had first-person knowledge of Henry S. Cooper, son of our founder. Called him Mr. Henry, and you could tell that he worshiped the ground he walked on. So we have some, he provides first-person knowledge of some of the key events in Jockey history from a sales perspective, which is pretty good.
Okay. What changes have occurred at Jockey that you're aware of, that you've been involved with?
Well, technology has been crazy. When I came up to Jockey and moved to Kenosha in 97, we didn't have email to the stores. We had to get trade information by weekly mail packs. You'd have to they'd send in discs, 3.5-inch discs to be loaded. They'd keep these massive printouts in the store. They did all sorts of behind-the-scenes work at the store level. Like I said, we didn't even have email, so the communication was crazy. As technology improves, just the things that you can do and the systems that support you are just amazing.
So Donna Wolf-Steigerwald was chairman until when?
She passed in 2000, and her daughter, Deborah Steigerwalt-Waller, was named chairman of the board and CEO in 2001.
And she's there today?
Yes, she is.
Okay. And how has the company changed from you working with Donna Wolf-Steigerwald, and now how has the company changed since her daughter has taken over?
It's been a very smooth transition. She's very much her mother's daughter, very kind, very giving, very caring, very genuine. When you're talking to Deborah, it's like you're just talking to a friend, which I don't know, there are many companies you can say that. And Deborah's always has the best interests of the brand and the people who make the brand what it is at heart.
Have you made a lot of friendships within the company?
Yes, there are people that are friends today that I knew when I started at Jockey. And yes, we do stuff outside of the building, and it's a very supportive environment, very much a family environment.
Can you tell me the effect the pandemic had on Jockey?
Well, it kind of we shut down our retail stores for a while. We gradually reopened them. We shut down the building for a while, except for essential personnel like building services, and did a gradual transition to return to the building, following all of the CDC guidelines, providing resources. We had a dedicated COVID team, relentless cleaning, social distancing, but yet keeping the warm, friendly, sense of humor atmosphere going. Like we had to sit with a chair between us in meetings, and instead of just taping off the chair, they did a cardboard cutout of the Jockey Being family bear, and that was in the chair. So it was just trying to
make it a little bit lighter than.
Yeah, but COVID was tough. I think it was tough for everybody, but we made it through.
A lot of people work from home.
Yes.
And today, are they still working from home?
We're pretty much all back to work. Some people, due to their locations, are 100% remote, but most people are in the office. Right now, we do 4 days in the office, and then we work remote on Fridays, and we just work a half day.
Okay. And
unless you're in the archives.
Unless you're in the archives, then you get to have to go in
I
and
get
play
to
with
go
boxes. And what about during the unrest? So Jockey was very close to the uptown area. So
Yes.
Actually, it's part of uptown, but.
Yes, they sent us home several times because it was very close. They kept a close watch on the situation. It was very scary, but we were extremely fortunate that the unrest didn't reach us.
And how
Extremely.
long was this concern?
It feels so
Couple
long.
weeks, a month?
I would say a couple weeks to a month. It was so long ago. I think I've just tried to block that whole thing out.
So, what kind of presence does Jockey have in the community?
Jockey has really amped up community involvement. Our Jockey Being Family Foundation is extremely active. They sponsor back-to-school bashes across the country, and ours was held at Jerry Smith this year, and it just helps adopted and foster kids get off to the right start for school. We've adopted Lincoln Middle School, and just doing everything to help folks be successful.
If you adopt a school, just what does that mean? What things do you do?
There's we have like a closet there, so that if a kid comes to school and maybe might not be as fortunate as everybody to be able to change clothes every day, we have things there. We have hygiene kits. We have a dedicated room for jockey mentors because we have a mentoring program.
When did that start?
That mentoring program started last year, and it's just fantastic. The school is so supportive, and even though middle schoolers are a little scary, they're really cool.
Do you know how many mentors Jockey has at Lincoln?
It has grown. I don't have a current count, but I think we might be approaching 20 maybe. And Jockey's very supportive. It's like, go mentor.
Is there any other community involvement pieces that?
I know you have a back-to-school activity, like a field day for the 6th graders to welcome them to Lincoln Middle School. I know there's some other things that they're doing that I'm not that aware of.
How about more global?
Global, well, our Jockey Being Family Foundation, that supports post-adoptive services, and we partner with leading agencies and help get the hands in adoptive families and foster families so that they can be forever families. Because post-adoptive support is absolutely key to keeping families together. And Deborah feels very strongly about that, as she was adopted as a baby. So.
Okay, what is the best part of your job?
The relationships and the people. It's, we all have our own families that we're related to by blood, but at Jockey I have a family that crosses the globe. And like a really good family, Jockey's always there for you to help you when you need them.
Okay, and how long do you expect to continue working at Jockey in your dream job?
I know, in my dream job, I'm going to work until I'm satisfied it's done, but at least another 5 years, because why would I retire when I love what I'm doing? So, what can I say? I'm a Jockey fangirl.
Well, thank you for talking with me today.
It was a pleasure and an honor.